Okay, so I had a look at the Aztecs again. And historically, I haven't always been the biggest fan of this serial. I thought it was overrated by the fan base. I think there was this perception that the story being about Barbara and her dilemma was really progressive and that it focused on this woman having to navigate this complex crisis. But really, Barbara acts so idiotically arrogant, but I don't really consider it a very flattering portrayal of a woman or anyone. If this was a male character, we'd all be discussing how dim witted and naive they are behaving, and that a history teacher ought know better. But because of the insistence that Doctor Who is a progressive show and always has been, it hasn't necessarily always been, even if it came across that way by virtue of the times around it, or it became that way eventually, even during the classic run. There has been this belief that the Aztecs was somehow a gallant act of feminist accord, though really I think Barbara is portrayed caricaturishly in this serial, and I don't think it's that progressive a depiction of a female character. That being said, watching it now, it was better than I expected. The set design is certainly rather good, the direction is quite effective, Hartnell is on very fine form, and it is pretty well paced at 4 episodes. If this was six, it might drive me up a wall though. Though I do think that it is far from the classic which the wider fandom has sometimes claimed that this is. The performance of John Ringham as the antagonist, Clotoxel, is just ridiculous, and I can find it hard to take the surrounding events seriously with him puffing himself up all over the frame. I'm not gonna get into the execution of the action, that really wouldn't be fair, however, it doesn't help in it kind of deflates any tension which the story is attempting to relay to some extent. Not one of my favorites, not one which I feel that excited to watch. I'm sorry if I upset the fandom by saying this, although I think that elevating the Aztecs to a classic is reaching, and if this is considered good writing, what are the peers? Is this on a par with really strong literature or drama or even other television writing on certain other programs, obviously since then, but maybe even of its time? I'd love to know examples of great writing in the minds of those who claim that these scripts are somehow legendary works. We'll be on to the Sensorites next, a serial I remember liking a fair bit. Hopefully that holds up relatively well.